"Human, it's been over a month," she whispered, her voice trembling with something between frustration and longing, "and you still haven't done it. You still haven't claimed me." The words crashed into me harder than the thunder outside. She didn't just say that. She couldn't have. Yet there she stood in the dim glow of the ship's emergency lights, her towering silhouette framed by the fractured doorway, her skin glowing faintly as though a constellation had been etched into her flesh. And then, without hesitation, she let her cloak fall to the ground. For a second, I forgot to breathe. I wasn't supposed to be here, not in this hidden wreck of alien steel buried in the forest beyond my small hometown. I wasn't supposed to be staring at a woman who clearly wasn't human, yet whose every movement pulled me deeper into her gravity. My heart pounded in my chest, and my throat went dry. She'd said those words like an accusation, but her eyes, those strange luminous eyes that seemed to shimmer like distant galaxies, were pleading with me. "I don't think you understand," I managed, stepping back against the cool metal wall. "I don't even know what you're asking me." She tilted her head, her long hair cascading like strands of liquid silver. "You've kept me here, fed me, watched me heal. You are kind, patient. But patience is running out. My body cannot wait forever. My people cannot wait forever. Only you can do this." I laughed, though it sounded more nervous than amused. "You've got the wrong guy. I fix computers, not whatever it is you need fixed." Her lips curved into a faint smile, sharp but strangely tender. She took a step closer, and I felt the warmth radiating from her skin. It wasn't human warmth, it pulsed like a heartbeat made of starlight. For a moment, I thought I could hear it, a low thrumming in my ears that synced with my own pulse. "You think you are ordinary," she said softly, eyes locking onto mine. "But you're not. There's something in your blood. A resonance. The key to breaking the seal that binds me." The way she said, "seal," made my stomach tighten. This wasn't just about me, or her. This was something bigger, something ancient, and it terrified me. Still, I couldn't ignore the weight in her words, or the way she looked at me, like I was more than I'd ever allowed myself to believe. I closed my eyes, trying to remember the night it all started. The crash had shaken the valley. While everyone else ran, I'd gone toward the smoke. I told myself it was curiosity, maybe stupidity. But deep down, I knew it was more. Something had pulled me there, like an invisible thread winding me closer to her. I'd found her lying in the wreckage, her skin glowing faintly even through the blood and ash. She'd been barely conscious, whispering sounds I didn't understand, and I had done the only thing that made sense. I carried her home. For weeks, I'd kept her hidden in my room, bringing her food, trying to communicate. At first, she barely spoke, but little by little, she began to form words in my language. She learned so fast it was almost unsettling. She told me her name, Liara. She told me she was a queen, a ruler of distant stars. And she told me, with absolute certainty, that she was bound to me. I wanted to laugh it off. Me, a guy who worked night shifts and lived in a rented house on the edge of nowhere? But the way she looked at me, the way her presence lit up the shadows, something in me wanted desperately to believe. Now here she was, standing in my room, the cloak at her feet, her strange radiant skin casting shimmering patterns on the walls. I couldn't look away. My chest felt too tight. "Why me?" I whispered. "Out of everyone in the universe, why me?" Liara's voice was steady, but her hands trembled as she reached for mine. "Because the cosmos chose you. Because the bond isn't made of power or wealth. It's made of courage. And you've shown me more courage in your silence than the warriors of my world ever did with their blades." The rain hammered harder against the windows. In the distance, thunder rolled like the growl of some great beast. My mind raced. A month of stolen glances, of her quiet presence in my room, of me pretending not to notice how the glow of her skin lit up the nights. And now she was telling me this? Her voice dropped lower, intimate, almost fragile. "If you keep waiting, I will fade. If you reach for me, you will change everything." Her words hung in the air, heavier than the storm outside. My palms were sweating, but I didn't pull away. I couldn't. Some part of me already knew, this night wasn't going to end the way it began. Her hand was warm against mine, too warm, almost like touching sunlight bottled in human skin. I didn't pull back. I couldn't. My instincts screamed at me to run, but there was something magnetic about her presence. It wasn't just her height or the way the glow traced every curve of her body. It was the way she looked at me, not like I was some fragile earthling, but like I mattered. "You still don't believe me," she said. Her voice reverberated, not only in my ears but somewhere deeper, inside my bones. I swallowed. "You're asking me to do something I don't understand. To unlock you? What does that even mean?" She closed the distance between us. I could feel her breath, warm and strangely sweet, brushing my cheek. When my ship fell, the enemy tried to bind me. My strength, my will, my very essence, they sealed it. The bond we made when you carried me from the wreck, when your hands touched my skin, started to undo it. But you've hesitated, and the seal tightens every day. I shook my head, trying to process it. "Wait. Back up. We made a bond. I was just trying to keep you alive. I didn't agree to." "You didn't need to," she cut me off. Her eyes glimmered, a storm of light and shadow. "Your species is different. Humans were never meant to be part of this war, and yet, you are. My people would call you a key-bearer. And now, I can't go home until you finish what you began." The words "finish what you began" hung over me like a sentence I hadn't realized I was serving. Before I could argue, another tremor rocked the ground beneath us. The ruined starship groaned. Dust rained down from the fractured ceiling. A distant, inhuman howl split the night, carried on the storm's wind. Liara's grip on my hand tightened until I swore I felt the bones creak. "They've found me," she whispered. Her voice, usually steady and commanding, carried a crack of fear. "Who?" I asked. "My hunters. They've tracked my essence. They will not rest until I am destroyed, or until they take me back to chain me before their warlords." I wanted to say that it wasn't my problem, that I was just a mechanic's son who'd stumbled into the wrong clearing at the wrong time. But instead I found myself blurting, "Then we should run." She shook her head again, the glow on her skin pulsing brighter. "I cannot run forever. My people are waiting. My daughter is waiting. Without me, they are lost." Her words stabbed deeper than I expected. A daughter. Somewhere out there in the void, a child was waiting for her mother. I thought of my own mom, the way she used to wait up for me when I stayed late fixing cars. I thought of her empty chair now, the silence in our house since she passed. I looked back at Liara. Her shoulders squared, but her eyes were pleading. She was strong, powerful, otherworldly, but she was also a mother aching to go home. And somehow, impossibly, she thought I could help. The ground trembled again, heavier this time, as if something vast and living had stepped closer. Outside, the storm's light flared blood-red for a heartbeat. "What happens if I do this?" I asked, my voice barely audible over the storm. Her lips hovered near mine, and I felt her energy surge. "Then the seal will break. My strength will return. And you will no longer be who you were. You will be bound to me, forever." "Bound," I repeated, my chest tightening again. "Yes," she said simply. "Your life and mine, one flame in two vessels. You will carry my power, and I will carry your heart. That is the way of the bond." The idea should have terrified me. Instead, I found myself staring into her eyes, unable to look away. Maybe it was the storm outside, or the way her presence filled the room, but I couldn't help wondering, was this destiny, or a trap? Another roar split the night, closer this time. A shadow passed over the broken ship's hull, blotting out the faint light of the moon. Liara's hand slipped from mine, and she reached for a jagged piece of metal, her only weapon left. Even weakened, her stance radiated authority. "Decide quickly," she said, her voice firm now. "Either you run, and they will find you anyway, or you stand with me, and together we face what comes." My mind was chaos. 1 month of quiet nights, of stolen glances at her glowing figure resting in the corner of my room. 1 month of questions I never asked, fears I never voiced, feelings I never dared admit. Now there was no time left to hide. I could hear heavy footsteps outside. The sound of something massive, armored, deliberate. The kind of presence that made the ground quake with every step. Liara's glow brightened until the room was washed in silver-blue light. She looked like a goddess preparing for war. She turned to me, her voice low and urgent. "Open the bond, Ryan. Or watch everything burn." And just like that, my ordinary life, my little room, my quiet days, was gone. I didn't know what she meant by deflower or unlock. I only knew one thing: whatever choice I made in the next breath would change not just her fate, but mine, and maybe the fate of two worlds. The footsteps outside stopped. Silence pressed in, heavier than the storm. Then came a sound, metal scraping metal, as though something dragged claws across the hull of the broken craft. My pulse hammered in my ears. Liara didn't flinch, though her skin's glow intensified until it painted the walls with a trembling ocean blue light. She turned toward me, her tall frame tense, her jaw tight. "Stay close. If they breach the hull before I'm ready, I can't protect you." "Protect me," I whispered. "You're the one they're after. I'm just collateral." Her gaze sharpened, flashing like lightning through those otherworldly eyes. "Don't ever say that again. You are the reason I still stand. Without you, I would already be dust scattered across this soil." Before I could reply, the ship groaned and dented inward with a metallic shriek. A massive claw pierced through, tearing open a jagged gap. A shape loomed outside, towering, armored, its body a mix of chitin and steel, with mandibles clicking in rhythm to the storm. I froze, every instinct telling me to run, but Liara lifted her shard of alien metal like a blade. She looked every bit the queen she claimed to be, though her movements were slower, weaker. If this was her at half strength, I couldn't imagine what she was like at full power. "They're here for the seal," she said. "If they take me before you unlock it, they'll consume me. And with me, the last chance for my people." I swallowed hard. "And unlocking it means what, exactly?" Her lips curled into something between a smile and a grimace. "It means binding yourself to me in the most ancient way my kind knows. It means sharing your essence, your life force, so mine can burn bright again." I stared at her glowing skin, remembering the night she first touched my wrist, how a spark had jumped between us and left my pulse racing for hours. A human, she said, could do what her own kind could not. I wanted to believe her, but the rational part of me was screaming, "This is insane, impossible, dangerous." The creature outside slammed against the hull again, shaking the room. A crack opened in the ceiling, letting in a shaft of red rain. Drops hissed as they touched Liara's skin, steam rising where they landed. She winced but held her ground. "I can't," I said. "I don't even know how." "You will," she insisted. "It's in you. All you have to do is trust me." She pressed my hand against her chest. My skin burned where it met hers, but not painfully. It was heat, yes, but also something else. A pulse, deeper than flesh, that seemed to echo my heartbeat. "Listen," she whispered. "Do you feel it? Your rhythm calling to mine." And I did. The storm outside faded from my awareness, and all I could hear was the synchronized beat of our hearts, overlapping, echoing through my veins. My chest felt heavy, like something was trying to burst free. The creature outside roared, the sound vibrating through my ribcage. The crack in the hull widened. Liara gasped, staggering slightly. Her glow flickered. "They are breaching," she said through clenched teeth. "If you walk away now, I will die here. My daughter will be enslaved. And you," her eyes locked on mine again, "you will live knowing you could have changed everything." I pulled my hand back, stumbling. "You don't even know me." "Why me? Out of billions of humans, why me?" Her expression softened, but her voice was steady. "Because you were the one who didn't run. When everyone else fled, you came closer. You carried me from the wreck when I was nothing but a broken shell. The bond does not choose the strongest, Ryan. It chooses the one who steps forward when all others step back." The metal shrieked again. A massive arm forced its way into the room, claws snapping. My instincts screamed, but my feet refused to move. Her hand reached for mine once more, trembling but sure. I could feel the decision circling me like the storm winds outside. My old life, the safe, invisible existence I'd carved out, was gone. Ahead lay something terrifying, something unknown, something electric. She leaned closer, her voice a storm's whisper. "Will you be my shield, or will you let me be taken?" And in that suspended moment, with the storm breaking around us and her luminous eyes burning into mine, I realized running was no longer an option. The ceiling gave way. A slab of alien alloy groaned loose and crashed to the floor, spraying sparks into the stormlit chamber. The thing outside forced its way through the breach, an armored giant with a skull-like face, mandibles clacking like knives. Its eyes glowed a poisonous green, scanning the shadows until they landed on Liara. She straightened, though her body wavered. Every muscle in her luminous frame quivered as if carrying the weight of 1,000 years. Her shard of metal looked pitiful against the creature's jagged weapon, a massive blade that hummed with its own energy. "Stay behind me," she said. I should have listened. I should have ducked under the broken bulkhead and run for the tree-line. That's what the rational part of me screamed. But another voice, quieter, deeper, and strangely familiar, rose inside me. It was the same pulse I had felt in her chest, the rhythm that had matched my own. The creature stepped forward, its talons screeching across the floor. "The Queen has lingered too long," it growled in that eerie, clicking language. I didn't understand the words, but somehow I caught the meaning. Liara bared her teeth. "You will not have me. Not while my bond-bearer stands." The beast tilted its head, as if amused, then lunged. Metal clashed with alien fire as Liara raised her shard. Sparks rained between them, and for a moment she held her ground. But I could see the strain tearing her apart, the glow of her skin sputtering like a candle in the wind. I didn't think. I just moved. My hand found hers again in the chaos, and the world exploded. It wasn't fire, not exactly. It was resonance. A vibration that tore through my veins, a surge of heat and light that felt older than language. My body arched as the glow from her skin poured into me, and suddenly I could see. Not just with my eyes, but with something deeper, threads of energy weaving through the storm, through the alien's body, through the wreck around us. Liara's voice filled my skull. "Yes, that's it. Don't fight it. Let it through." The creature roared, slashing downward. Without thinking, I raised my free hand. A burst of blue-white light erupted from my palm, slamming into its chest. The beast stumbled backward, armor smoking. I stared at my own hand, trembling, my skin still glowing with her light. "What the hell?" "No time," she shouted. "Again." The creature recovered and charged. Its blade swung, carving through the air, but before it could land I raised my hand once more. The resonance roared louder inside me, and this time a wave of force burst outward, throwing the monster back through the breach. It howled as the storm swallowed it. For a moment, silence returned. Just the rain hissing on her skin. I staggered, nearly collapsing, but Liara caught me before I fell. Her strength seemed to surge again, as if what I had given her was flowing back into her veins. Her glow steadied, bright and radiant. She looked down at me with something that was not just gratitude, it was awe. "You did it," she whispered. "The seal is breaking. I can feel my power returning." I tried to laugh, but it came out as a ragged breath. "I still don't understand what I just did." "You don't need to," she said softly. "Your heart knows. It always did. That is why you were chosen." Outside, more shadows shifted in the storm. More hunters. I pushed myself up, still shaky, but the strange energy hummed within me like a second heartbeat. I realized I wasn't just some nobody anymore. I was tethered to her, and that tether made me more than human. "Ryan," she said, her voice trembling now not with fear but with urgency, "they will not stop. But together, we can end this." I looked into her eyes, those endless galaxies swirling with light. A month ago, I was invisible. A month ago, I thought my life would pass without meaning, just another forgotten face in a small forgotten town. But tonight, in the storm, with her hand in mine, I felt something I had never dared to believe in, purpose. The walls shook again. The enemy roared, louder, angrier. Liara raised her weapon. I raised my hand. Our lights, hers silver blue, mine a raw, searing gold, intertwined until the room blazed like a newborn star. I didn't know if I was about to save her or destroy myself. Maybe both. But I did know one thing. She wasn't just some alien queen. She was a soul who had been broken, bound, mocked by her enemies. And I wasn't just a mechanic's son. I was the one who stayed. The one who didn't turn away. The one who could choose courage over fear. And in that choice, I felt the universe itself hold its breath.